Greetings, fam. Welcome to another episode of Voices from Within. This evening, we bring to you our brother, Sean X. He is a fighter, a soldier, in the pursuit of freedom, justice, and equality for our people. So sit back, listen, comment, and subscribe. Peace.
I'm Brother Sean 5X to be exact.
All right, brother Sean, where was you born and raised at?
Detroit,
Where?
1970. Dexter Linwood.
And you served time.
Where did I serve?
How long did you serve time?
Altogether 32 years.
Do you think your environment played a role in being locked up or going down that path?
Yes and no.
How was that?
I say yes because depending on the part of my growth, in the early part, it was a learning process of learning who I am, coming to see the unity in the neighborhoods coming up in the 70s. It was a lot of bond. It was a lot of pops and moms shops. It was a lot of unity. But in the 80s, it had evolved to a different level to where it's like, go get it. So, but it was not a lot of role models that you can look to as examples to be successful out here. In a positive way, anyway. And that's my humble opinion.
Yes, sir.
There were a lot of men around, but not enough men who gave themselves with you or to you to the point where it was meaningful. They were misleading young guys during those times of the years. In the 80s, they was taking young guys and allowing young guys to do things that they wasn't able to do or couldn't do or wouldn't do, because the time was different for us than it was for them. And this is why you had a lot of youth committing crimes of murder and robbery and this type of stuff. But we had misleading leadership. And I didn't learn of positive leadership until I got incarcerated. That's crazy, ain't it?
Yes, sir.
Because there was a lot of great men who had learned how to be men, and they were not just men in form, they were men in mind. And they were responding to the ability that had been allowed within themselves, where they have grown to see the mistakes that they had made. And they didn't want us to make the same mistakes and grow from what we had came from. And a lot of these men was doing natural life, no possible parole or anything, but they had adopted guys like myself and gave me the game on how to survive in there as well, what to stay away from. Gave us books to read, the right books, to elevate our minds and educate us on another level. And I respect those men, but a lot of those men thought they weren't coming home. They're home now. All praise be to Allah.
Yes, indeed.
They're home. They didn't think that they were coming out. They had to tap into themselves in more depth, knowing that they are a God too. And God never places nothing upon us that we can't handle. We believe that we can't handle it. And once we understand and know that whatever He has placed upon us, we can overcome that has been placed before us as a task. And that belly of the beast was a task for many of us, to the point where we didn't think that we'd be back out of it. You know, praise be to Allah again. Learning your assignment, coming into your assignment, not knowing your worth, but had to go through a lot of things in order to understand who you are as a man, not just a man, the black man, the Aboriginal man, and knowing and believing that that's who you are, and knowing that you are able and capable of getting yourself in a position to where you don't have to be dormant. And this is why so much motion is being made by those who people had in society looked at as nothing. Said we was never going to be nothing, never going to do nothing. But the mindset that they had embedded in us from the streets, creating cause, a lot of dysfunctional homes. You know, everybody sweeping truth up under the rug, or falsehood, or misleading people, from child molestation to abuse, from alcohol to physical abuse, to all these things that we be hushed and hushed on and act like it doesn't happen in our families. It happen in every family. However, I learned of my assignment being the unrevealer, to reveal everything now. Take the seals off that which we've been concealing. You know, the hurt and the pain. My grandson would never go through none of the things that my family has been going through. From the lies that we have been told from a white man coming down the chimney, to where they even went to the extent biting cookies and drinking half of the milk and leaving crumbs and putting footprints out there to make us believe an illusion.
Yes.
You know, from Easter telling us that rabbits lay eggs and Jesus rose from the dead, and all these lies that we have been told and misled. And many of it become from a lack of knowledge of their own. But the traditions that they continue to carry on is not accurate, and it needs to be devoured. And that's what I believe that God has shaped and molded me to go through the things that I've been through in life. To face truth. Truth is something that does hurt. However, it heals at the same time. And we have to be able to face truth and facts, because we have been dealing with so many lies and deception and delusional type of way of life, when truth right there in front of you. So, yes, sir.
When did you learn? What age you came to know your assignment, and was it a certain moment or something happened that made you say, okay, this is my assignment?
Well, I have always knew that I was special at the age of 5, because visions of things that take place, I feel as though Allah had revealed things to me, and I was afraid to speak on it because people would think you was crazy and all that. Oh, this guy done went nuts. No, I wouldn't go nuts.
Yeah.
But I believe it was at the age of 5, me coming into the understanding of who I know I am today.
So when you got out, before you got out, you had a mindset or a vision of what you want to do and what the world looked like when you left. What was you envisioned when you got out? Was it the same as you envisioned, or was it something different?
You know, it had tremendously become different, but the vision that I had was still like in the 80s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was stuck in 1989 on how society was moving then.
Yeah.
I just had the vision of coming back out and getting back into that world.
Yeah.
But Allah allowed me to get out after 27 years for 5 months to take a peek of what awaits me and what I was going to be facing with the new phones, and you know what I mean? Because I left, they had bag phones and pagers and all that old type of stuff. Now you got iPhones and all this Jetson type of stuff.
Yes, sir.
So, but Allah allowed me to get out after 5 months, and I was still being processed because my mindset was really on a ferocious platform on wanting to hurt people who had hurt me. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
I wanted to hurt the system, but that ain't what Allah had planned for me. But my feelings was right. I just couldn't act upon them. I was right to have the feelings that I had.
Yeah.
I have a right to be angry. I have a right to feel disappointed. I have a right to feel the way I felt. But I don't have a right to act upon how I felt, and I had to learn that.
So he set you back down.
He set me down to really just see and continue to grow. I'm still growing today.
Yes. So you went back. How long you do it the second time?
Well, I finished up at 32 years.
Now you back out. Let's talk about a traumatic incident that happened to you when somebody tried to take your life.
I got shot 8 months after coming home for helping someone who was in a toxic relationship, not knowing the ins and outs of whatever was going on with that situation. I had got my own security company. I was called to come and help assist in a matter to where they wanted their house boarded up and they wanted security so they could pack their stuff up to leave. I got paid for such. I did such. But the toxic relationship that they were in, the boyfriend had someone pull up on me while I was driving down Grand River and shoot me in the head.
How long was you in the hospital?
I believe a little over 2 months.
And we talk about what you going through during this time. Because I noticed that before Sean X and after is two different people.
Well, I look at it as another process of Allah allowing me to cleanse my plate of the sins that I had done. I did harm to people, unconsciously as well as consciously, in my youth. And no one would leave this earth without paying for what we think we got away with. And I look at that situation for me harming someone else is it come back on you. You know what I mean? Whether I was doing a good deed or not, I had done deeds or things to people that where I caused harm to people, to where people lost their lives. And I look at as that was a cleansing for me, because if he wanted to call me home, I wouldn't be talking to you right now.
Yes, sir.
And he allowed me to continue to be, because my assignment is just begun. And that's my humble opinion of that situation.
Yes, sir. Coming home, there's like the most common hurdle or struggle is home. So, but you've been blessed enough to not have to go through that. So what does that feel like in terms of coming from that type of environment, knowing you have somewhere safe to lay your head?
Again, I know that Allah has provided me to have ease because of the dis-ease and the struggles that I will face and go through going out here getting at our people. So he made it where I was going to be able to have a home where I can be at peace and rest my form and be relaxed in, to just prepare myself to go back out to society where it's a cruel, ugly world. He gave me a place of comfort. He gave me a place of refuge. He gave me a place of peace. Because you need that in going out here to get at our people.
Yes, sir.
And so it's not me. Allah provided and prepared a way for me. And that's how I see it.
Yes, sir. So which led into the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, as given to us by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. When we get locked up, during that time, we was locked up and I was locked up, the Islamic group dominated the prison system. And I don't mean dominate in terms of in a bad way, meaning that's what the majority of people were. You had the Melanics, you had Nation of Islam, you had Orthodox, I hate using that word, but you had Orthodox Islam and 5%ers. What drew your attention to the teaching of the Nation of Islam as opposed to any other group, or just stand by yourself?
Well, what drew me to the nation, it was already embedded in me, not knowing that my father's an icon in the Nation of Islam, but not knowing that he was my father. I thought he was my great uncle. But I wasn't following the teachings when I was home. And I got in prison, I watched men who I know, who didn't know how to read and write, who wasn't upright, who was transformed by these teachings. And I seen them literally shining like the sun. And these were some dull men who I knew from the streets, who were the slimiest of the slimiest, the ruthless of the ruthless. But I see them have a discipline about themselves. It was a magnificent attraction. Seeing them once upon a time hunched over, now they standing upright. Now they're articulate. Their penmanship is, you never knew they didn't know how to write. You know what I mean? I watch these teachings when you use them to your advantage, work for you. I watch these men get themselves out of prison because of these teachings, the brotherhood, the bond, the love that men who didn't know each other but got to know each other because of the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad under the leadership of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Men who would have never got an opportunity or a chance to meet like they met in the brotherhood inside, because it was us against the world for real. And you had men making sure that you stayed on the right path, because you're a reflection of not just yourself, but a multitude of men that you see and the men that you don't see. So ones held you accountable. But I knew a lot of these guys from the street. And to see that we are all able to come together and let differences be, it is power in itself.
Yes, sir. Now, the prison reform ministry and the ministry staff. Not everybody gets out here and jumps into that. Because some people get out, just want to live their life. They might go to the mosque, register, but be active at the ministry, on the ministry staff, as well as the Nation Islam Prison Reform Ministry. What made you want to take on them roles? Because it required a lot.
The love of the people. The real love of the people. I love helping my people. And I believe, again, that Allah have given me the qualifications from the shaping and molding from all the things that I've been through to prepare myself to go and speak with those who have a way about themselves and feeling like they don't have a voice, who feel as though they're not stout enough to go do things that I learned to know that they are capable of doing, because I don't see an individual, I see the God within them. And so I distract that God that's in them out of them so they can start seeing the power that they possess and come up out of that slump type of mindset. So I love being able to see the results of our people transform into who God created us to be.
How has it been working with our brother, Student Minister Troy?
Oh, amazing. Phenomenal. It is because of his great leadership. He has opened up many doors for me. I deal with the chiefs of police. I deal with the sheriffs. I deal with the chiefs of fire departments and Congress and judges whom I would never thought that I would deal with. But this man have taken me to many cities and states, broadened me in ways to where I didn't know I had in me to go do and be. Being right there with this man, I don't believe he know how amazing he is. And I shared with him because I know what he have done and brought to me from the God within him. And he's so humble. It's nothing to him. But it's the world to me of the doors that he has opened for me.
Yes, sir.
And I love it because he is extremely, literally humble about the work that he does. But he don't get the credit that he needs or should receive. But I give it to him every chance I get, though.
Yes, sir. So dealing with the teachings, the Honorable Minister Farrakhan said 3 things about us for us. in terms of order. He said Allah, family, and nation. Many people have their interpretation of what that means for them. What does them 3 words mean, or them 3 instructions mean to you?
Where is not a misunderstanding, is very clear in the order that he has given it to us. Allah first, because without Allah, nothing else can be in existence or move accordingly in order.
Yes.
He is the law. He is the order. And after him is man, who then take care of his household. If you're not in tune with God, you can't be in tune with your family in a way to where it needs to be. Law and order, structure, respect, and then the nation where you go get fed, where you go get like recharged, meaning that you have to have that brotherhood, you have to have that reminder of why and who you are and what your purpose and your mission is. That's how I see the nation, but it's not something that you just go. A lot of people look at the Nation of Islam as though you go to the mosque, yes, you go to see the brotherhood, but the work is in the streets. It's not in the mosque. Anybody can go stand post in the mosque. But the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us under the leadership of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, from my humble studies, is the work is in the streets. You go get instructions from the mosque, and then you go carry those instructions out to the streets and go get the people who don't have the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that you have. You invite people out to the mosque to get them the basis to start their process. But you don't remain in the mosque. You remain in the streets. You just go to the mosque for refreshing.
Yes, sir.
And instructions for further growth.
Yes.
My humble opinion and belief of what I have learned of the teachings.
Yes, sir. Let's talk about relationships. How have relationships been for you since you've been out? In terms of dealing with other brothers or dealing with opposite sex?
I see with brothers, the brothers that I have are my brothers. Now you have many who come and they might say assalamu alaikum to you, but don't mean may peace be unto me. They may have jealousy or envy, and I have done anything but what I'm supposed to do. I consider myself more brother to brothers than they are to me. I'm willing to assist my brothers no matter whatever the situation may be. If I got it, you got it. If I don't got it. But now if you really need it and we can go get it, let's go get it. But I try to stay on the path. But if a brother want me to go get it because he want it but not need it, then you're not my brother.
Correct.
Because if I told you I don't have it, I don't have it. But if I have it, you don't have to ask me twice. Come and get it. Not just that, it's more to that in brotherhood to me. It's like, my brothers who I call my brothers are my brothers. There is no doubt about it. But now I learned, being home from the penitentiary in the Nation of Islam, is a separation in the mosque. You have brothers who feel as though they're better than you because you came from the belly of the beast, where the minister said where his real true soldiers was coming from. Relationships in the mosque and from those who have come home from prison, it's like a separation, like brothers feel like we better than them, or we not better than them, or we're not real brothers. You can become an FOI, register FOI, and still feel like an outcast. At least that's me, feeling that way. From I'll show brothers real love and leave whatever ignorance to the side from others and see past it, and they're still, like when we come home, we embrace brothers.
Yes,
I'm like brother. We give brothers hugs, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Brother extend his hand like we a germ or something, you know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Like, Assalamu alaikum, brother. Like, really. But I look past that and you allow a person to grow, to learn and love you. But I don't expect it to be overnight. But I look at things way different than a lot of brothers, because when you say that you are FOI, and me knowing what an FOI is and the duties of an FOI, I don't question it.
Yes.
Unless you're an imposter. And when a brother say that he's an FOI, he's registered fruit, why would I question you? Not that we can't become devil overnight, but if my actions haven't showed you of such, and because you haven't took time out to learn me, to know me, and because I'm stout in my position and you're a little feeble, I'm gonna make you strong in your areas that you feeble in. But you look at it and be like, oh, this nigga arrogant. One, I'm not a nigga. Two, I'm just confident in who I am, and I'm trying to give you some of that. But you look at it from different ways. And that's with the brotherhood, as far as me and my brothers. As far as women in the relationship, you try to give a woman an understanding of the God within, right? They see men in form, but they're used to males. They're not used to men, my opinion. Because when a man come and he take charge of his, you feel threatened. You can make $150,000 a year. That's money. That ain't no money though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But they done got to the point where you got a lot of women who smoke Black and Miles, and that I just found out they consider that success. No, that's considering you catching cancer and not going to be here long enough to really enjoy the life that Allah had created for you. They feel threatened by real men because they so used to dealing with males who they can run over. They want a man in their life, but they want the control. So relationships go south because women feel as though they put themselves up here when they don't have to with a real man, especially a man of God, because he automatically going to treat the queen like the God that she is. But they feel like you have to go, when you have to buy weave and all this old type of stuff, you takes away from your nature, your naturalness. And so you become somebody who you're not. Because you wear pants don't mean you can fit my pants. But when you act like a man and I treat you like one, I'm wrong. You're looking for a woman in a relationship because you're trying to be a man. But when it's being expressed and addressed to females who act this type of way, then you're wrong. But no, it's actual fact. Women have gotten to the point where you've been placed in these situations to where you're making a lot more money than the black man is. You feel like you're the chief of the castle. And you're not. You're just in a position to where he's not positioned yet. And that's how society had made it, where the woman to be over the black man and make him feel as though he's nothing and belittle him and make him feel like he can't do nothing but be up under you. Yes, that's what a male.
Yes.
Not what a man. Because you can make more money than me. I don't have a problem with that. I'll play a different position though. But I would still run the household like it needs to be done.
Yes, sir.
And if you can't abide by that, then we have a problem and we don't need to be together.
Yes, sir.
Because you have work to do on self. Because many of our women have been scarred and they've been brought up in a way that their mother can't even keep a man. So how you gonna tell her how to be with a man or have a man? It only means that she knows that you have been many men who run in and out your home. So this is what she looked for. Many men to run in and out of her home and treat her like she's trash. She's not used to being treated like a goddess or a queen.
Yeah. I have one more question before we close up. Graduation class. You know, I had my graduation a few years ago in Chicago. How was it once you got registered and you had the graduation class at Savior's Day? How did that feel for you?
I felt like I have always been a fruit. So the graduation was just a plus for me. It
Yes,
was
sir.
exciting, but it was as though I was always that. I never considered myself other than an FOI, whether I was on paper or not. I conduct and carried myself as though such. And I don't let a piece of paper dictate who I am.
Yeah.
My actions and my deeds identify me way before I came home from prison. And that's how people always address me, as Sean X.
Yeah.
Because when I became conscious, I would refuse to be other than such. And so it was exciting, but it was already like, I've been here, I've done this, I've been this already.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Like any words of instructions, inspirations, words of guidance you want to give to not just the youth, but people in general that you see going down the same path you went through, or people that's came out of the belly of the beast that's out here in the streets or in the mosques?
Well, my closing remarks would be for each and every one of us. We are in a very, very detrimental time to where we don't have time to have envy, jealousy of each other. We need to unite and become one and have real love for each other, because the time of Satan is up and God's world is coming in as we speak. And if we continue to play games because we're the chosen people, don't mean that we will be continuously that. If we continue to act as we have been acting and killing each other unjustly and just out here thinking that it's all a game. Our life is not a game. And we need to just take heed and start showing a lot more love than envy and jealousy. When you see a black man, speak to him. You see a black woman, speak to her. Don't frown your face up. Don't make them feel no more than what we have already been through. We've been through the same thing. And so we want to bring joy, less stress, happiness amongst each other. Let's bond and unite like God had already planned for us to do and be in this hour. Salam alaikum.
Well, let's launch.